Hello everyone, Mario the Smash Bro here and welcome back to Cuphead. We have two more bosses that we're going to be fighting on Inkwell Isle 4 or Inkwell Hell. We have King Dice and the Devil to take on this episode. We're going to be playing on Expert difficulty once more, aiming for S rank for both of these bosses. Now after I recorded the gameplay for the Devil, I realised that the audio did not record, so I put some extra sound effects and some music in there. You won't be able to hear the sound effects of the actual game itself, but I added a couple of extra things just so it sounds right. Anyway, first up, we have King Dice in All Bets Are Off. So for King Dice, the bosses that we're going to be taking on are in tiles 3, 5 and 7, so at the very beginning we're going to be rolling a 3. We're literally going to be rolling a 3 every single time, and conveniently there is a heart on the third tile, so that's very helpful for us. The first little mini-boss slash minion that he's sending at us is going to be the cigarette. For this fight we're going to be using the lobber and the roundabout, switching between those two weapons, and we're going to be standing on the edge of the platform continuously firing at him. Now if he's shooting a fireball that goes over the top of you, you just need to jump over it once, but if it goes underneath you, you'll need to jump over it twice. It's much easier to see than have me explain it. So that goes underneath me, I jump over it again. And you have to do that for everything he sends at you from underneath. So I jump over them twice. If you keep this up, it shouldn't be too much trouble to take him out. Alright, so back in the casino, you'll notice we have 4 health. We have 5 on our super meter, we're going to be rolling another 3. And fighting in boss number 5. The 5th boss in this is going to be the rabbit with the hat. I did happen to take damage here, but as long as I don't drop my health any lower than 3, I'll be fine. So stand over here, switch. If he does happen to send those at you, you'll need to try and parry the pink one. Use your smoke dash to escape the skulls. I happen to take damage there, but that's okay. It's also very important that you don't preempt the skulls, only use your dash when they're closing in on you. If they're spinning, do not dash, just stay there and fire, it's much safer that way. Might I also mention that my preference for super in this fight, or in the King Dice stage, is using the invincibility. So in his very final phase when we're actually fighting King Dice, we're going to be using the invincibility, because it is quite helpful to use that. Right, so there's going to be a heart on the 7th one as well for us conveniently, so we're going to roll another 3. Enter the 7th boss, and now we have back up to 4 HP, so we are able to take one more hit, but we're going to try and save it. So we're now fighting this lady who pretty much acts as a casino table or a roulette table, and she'll just be going back and forth on the stage. She'll occasionally stop at the sides and then start shooting balls from the sky. If she does that, just literally stand right next to her, shoot her a little bit, dash, and then keep on shooting her so you can get as much damage up onto her as possible while she's doing that attack. It's very easy to defeat her if you're using the smoke bomb dash. We're now back in the casino. If we roll another 3, we're going to land on the safe spot, so that's what we're going to do. Going for the 3, you need to be very cautious for this next one because I swear the number of times I've accidentally rolled a 1 on this phase. There we go. And we're going to move to the opposite side that his hand spawns on so that we can start parrying and shooting. You can parry the Ace of Hearts multiple times, so keep that in mind because not a lot of people know that. Now at this point, that's where I use my invincibility so I can just get as much damage onto him as possible. I use the invincibility just because it is quite difficult to get lots of attacks in, considering his ridiculous onslaught of cards coming from his hands. I'm just going to start using a bit of my abilities here as well, because why not? I do remember taking damage somewhere around here. I was trying to parry some of the cards and I accidentally did it a bit too late, so I landed down onto one of his cards and took damage. I think it was about here. Yep, that's where it was. But he'll be dead in a couple shots, so it does not matter. Alright, so now that we've defeated King Dice, our final boss to beat is the Devil in one hell of a time.
This match will get red hot. Now go!
Right, so for this fight we have the Charger and the Roundabout equipped. What I'm going to be doing is shooting up at him and then switching between the Roundabout a little bit every single time I get the chance. If he shoots this fireball attack, it's very difficult to avoid, so it basically just takes a whole lot of practice. But as soon as you see an opening, just dash through. It's much easier to just navigate your way through rather than try to shoot him while that fire thing's going back and forth around the screen. Now I have my Twin Heart equipped for this fight instead of Smoke Dash. Now this is because up to the very final phase I try not to get hit. If you do happen to take damage in his first or second phase, I'd probably recommend restarting because it's very difficult to beat his last phase without taking any damage. Unless you know pretty much exactly what you're doing, which I happen to not. So I get as many parries as possible in this very first phase. I'm using my Roundabout at the moment just so I can take out some of the minions around him. And for his Spider phase, I just start using the Roundabout and walking back and forth so I can do some damage to him as well as some damage to the minions. I'd much rather do that than risk taking any damage. Every time he does that clap attack, pretty much just wait until his hands have gone all the way off to the side, then jump and then dash at the last moment. Keep on attacking him and then move on to his next phase where he will take out his skin and jump down there. So when we get down here, I'm going to fire at him with my Charger for a little bit and then I'm going to use my Super when I feel like I'm going to take damage from something. There you go, I used it when I was about to take damage from the falling poker chip. Alright, so on to his next phase now. I'm just going to keep on firing with my Charger. The Roundabout is very helpful for this because there are some enemies that can do quite a bit of damage to you. So if you use the Super ability or the ability for that one, we'll start taking out the enemies at the top as well as the enemies on the sides. Just be very cautious in this phase. It's very easy to take damage from the many objects that are being thrown at you. I believe the little dragon things that are flying in from the sky trying to attack you, they only have 1 health, so if you hit them once then they'll get taken out. Anyway, we're now moving to his final phase. We're just going to keep on shooting upwards. Remember that the tears and his eyes that are crying are able to be parried, so try that if you're having any trouble trying to avoid them. I just use as many of my abilities as possible and take him out there. I do take 2 damage during that phase.